Brad saying something stupid right at the start.
It was lack of trying.
It was not for lack of trying.
I think he did.
Can you hear me okay? You guys hear me? I don't hear me.
I don't hear me either.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Well, it's getting the mic audio.
Isn't that what it's supposed to do?
I mean, yeah, but if we can't hear each other, at least they can probably hear us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the thing going, so
Yeah.
I'll try and turn you guys up.
Sound good?
Okay.
We got audio on the Twitcher.
The Twitcher.
I want to start off talking about Leagues of Votan. When and if we have...
I'm just gonna.
And how massively underpowered they are.
Yeah, I've got you now. Can you hear me in the headphones?
You can cool it with that
Kind
for
of.
now. Jason's not watching yet.
Oh, okay, got it.
That really, last week he was really upset about that.
Who was?
Jason, about Leagues of Votan Day.
Oh,
Rightfully.
yeah. Okay, I think I can hear us. Can you hear us? Nurgle Matt, can you hear? Nathan, can you hear? Oh, they must have heard the whole time.
See, I'm just giving the people what they want. All right, I get it's a bot.
I was going to
and
say,
it's
the
not
funny
even-
thing is Nathan's not a people.
Oh no.
So you're giving the program... Wait, what's in the Matrix is the program... who's the program?
There's a lot of programs.
I know, but like, don't they refer to somebody as like the program?
Smith
No,
What about the new one?
stop.
Smith 2.0.
That's not canon.
Neil Patrick Harris.
No, is he in it? He is in it. He's the
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, he is a program, right?
He's
Yeah.
his therapist. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
He's more complex than a program though. Like, I mean, he literally is one, but I don't know. He's something
That's
more.
fair. So we've got 40K campaign to talk about. Nathan, I hope that's you in YouTube because I can't see what you're saying. So
It is.
if it's important, you'll say it in Twitch because
Yeah, because we will not. We
I
will not
wish
be able
you guys
to see your
could
comment.
see.
It's almost. It's actually entirely irrelevant.
imagine
Just say it
size
there.
10
It will not be
font,
right.
but 10 feet from your face. That's what I'm looking
Yeah.
at.
It might be 12, but it's tiny.
It's crazy you can't adjust it.
No, I cannot at all.
And YouTube's like, hey, sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got 40K campaign to talk about. Kicked off today. I thought you guys were playing today.
I was going to. Jake had to back out for
Okay.
medical reasons. So
Is
we're
that,
playing tomorrow.
Playing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Now, you guys are... I wish I would have shared this. You're the northern city.
Southern. I don't know where
He's attacking your city in the north. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Wait, you're fighting in both cities, right?
I was. Yeah.
You
both
fight...
cities.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have two
one
fights.
of his and I'm attacking one of his and he's attacking. one of
But you're playing the defense and the offense
Yeah,
of
both games,
of
yeah.
the cities. Okay.
Yep. We're gonna have a bloody old brawl. It'll be fun.
Oh, did we go to video now, Tony?
Yeah, we're at video.
Okay.
I've got a nice Funzo chaos list put together. I think it'll be a good game for like orcs, just to beat each other up and stuff. So
Nice.
I think it'll be a blast.
I love campaigns so much. It's I want to talk about that, and then the Leagues of Votan. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that Germany is banning them in tournaments
Oh
already.
my God.
I don't know if that's true, but Tony, can you
Before-
turn my mic up just a little bit?
Yeah.
Or not my mic. I'm sorry. Can you turn my phones up a little bit?
My
It's
phone's.
a typical Games Workshop issue.
Just a tad.
I
Yeah.
hope that's not a.
They're all linked together.
It's really unfortunate. It's it's one of the last 9th books to come out. So
I mean, the good news is that
fits
means
the
that
mold.
Guard will be so irrevocably broken.
yeah, but then they'll have 3 months to play,
That's all we're gonna get anyway.
which-
Might
which
as well
will be
make them
cool.
super overpowered.
which will be awesome. So Guard will come out. A month later, they'll get their FAQ nerf, and then a month later, it'll be 10th edition.
A month, huh? Yeah, that's pretty generous.
They'll get there. That did not take a month before, right? God, it's
It's like
crazy
the
to think that.
following
Yeah, Brandon thinks Guard's broken. Lubke is flat out wrong. Flat out wrong.
They're not. I don't think they're bad.
They're not good.
I don't think they're as
Apparently,
bad
they
as-
had a really good weekend this past weekend.
What would you
I don't like-
What would you say is bad? If
In-
you don't
in-
think Guard is bad,
Overall, I don't know if I would classify anything right now as all that bad.
the data slate stuff definitely helped Guard. So they
Yeah,
went from
yeah,
being
yeah,
like seller,
without any of that, yeah,
like
they're
the
bad.
roaches were climbing
They're
over
bad,
their
but
body.
with Armor of Contempt on your vehicles and the auto wounding on 6s, that makes them really good.
I will tell
Or-
you, dude, when you play against
Those rules are really
Yes,
good.
those rules are really
when you
good. It
play
does
against a
make them
legitimate
really
codex, and they're like, yeah, everything's neg 5. everything's flat 5
I
damage.
mean-
You're like,
I mean,
yeah, you know,
Ninth
like,
edition problems. I get it.
Which
But,
is
like,
exactly why I'd be very excited to see an index edition.
me too. Like that's literally the reason why Armor of Contempt exists is because everything now is neg 5.
Yeah.
That is why. So like once we get an index edition, that rule more than likely is gone. I'm hoping to see most rules gone.
Are you messing with the volume still, Tony? Because
A little, but just in your
okay.
headphones.
Just all right. It
The
just,
shard gullet.
it just got
yeah, I don't know
too
what
high.
shard gullet is, but that
Too high?
what
Okay.
the
I turned it
Sounds
back
like a
But like
you can turn the phones down just a tad. Tony, I know you
rather than Armor of Contempt, I would have been happier if they just put out like a line of text that said reduce all AP by 1
in the game.
in the entire game for everything forever.
I don't know. It creates a lot of problems, but I get where you're coming.
Yeah, I
Nathan says Lukey may be biased or wrong, and his Hive Tyrant did have that relic gun that was just. He literally started the game by just like one-shotting a Russ.
what does it do?
It's 3 shots, hitting on 2s,
Okay,
wounding on 3s because it was a Bleemin' Russ, and it was 5 flat damage with neg
was it
5.
strength 9?
Strength 12.
Strength.
Was
Good
it
gun.
12?
That's a good gun. Did he hit and wound with all 3 shots?
Okay, so okay.
Well, it's a
hang on.
Hive Tyrant, so he hits on 2s.
Well,
Yeah, but one on
Lukey doesn't
threes.
miss either. It is important to note, like if you play him, like he doesn't miss anything. It's unreal. At
Oh,
one
if he
point-
didn't roll double sixes, yeah, okay.
And I rolled 2 6s on 3 saves. So
Yeah. So it
excuse me,
didn't
the
die.
Exocrine had to kill it, which
It
promptly
didn't die,
did.
but by all measures, it should.
What's the damage?
Like, yeah, I get what
The
you're saying.
Exocrine,
No, the
5 on that. So I saved 10 of the 15 that was coming
Wait,
in.
who would look at something like that and say, "Yeah, print it,
Been complaining about this for a while.
dude"? It's dumb.
Well, I mean, at least I will say, at least
Oh
that
my
is
God.
just a relic.
I understand. Yeah, okay, but like, not that. That's a gun that should exist on an Imperial Knight, and
Yeah.
literally nothing smaller than that.
Well, it's
you can put that on a flying rat. You can move it around.
You
and get
100%
shots.
should
so
not.
it's no different. It's no different than some of the Gene Stealer rules you look at. So, I saw this hilarious. This was a while ago. but I
Nathan
saw
Russ
this
died
hilarious-
immediately after that.
I saw this hilarious picture, right, and it had 3 melee weapons side by side,
Yeah.
right, and it was like it had what's it called, Drachneon, the sword of
Abaddon
Abaddon.
sword.
Yep, his demon sword, and then it had a Thunderstrike gauntlet or whatever on a knight, and then it had then they called it a Black and Decker on the
Yeah.
Gene Stealer call,
And the
it's-
Gene
it was
Circle
like-
has the higher.
well, it auto wounds, right? It was
Oh,
like
okay.
crackling with the Thunderstrike. It was like crackling with the power of I don't remember, but it was just like
Energy fields or whatever.
wounds most of the time. Wounds the majority of the time.
Mhm.
Fucking
But not all the
Daniel
time.
with his Black and Decker every time. It's just like,
Daniel the Gene Stealer.
With his
I
Black
can't
and
help
Decker.
you, Daniel.
but yeah, it's just, and that's part of the. I think a lot of that started with 8th edition, with everything wounds everything,
I've never liked
and
that.
so I never.
I'd
have
love
either.
to see that go away.
Me
I've
too.
never thought that was cool.
But I think it ruins a lot of the a lot of the complexity of things when
Yeah.
they do stuff like that because those
It also
those scenarios
slows the
come
game
into
down
play.
because I might as well shoot that.
So
I might take a wound off.
so take Daniel and his Black and Decker and compare it to the new Chaos Codex, right?
Mhm.
There is
We
a-
better get Codex
there is a-
Daniels with saws.
there is a demon weapon relic, right, that you can put on one of your characters whose that
Danny
weapon
boy!
now
Oh,
auto
Danny
wounds every time a hit is scored. But it's a demon weapon relic, meaning you also can't take other relics with it.
Yeah.
But you still have Daniel over here with his Black and Decker auto wounding every time he hits. Like it's just a silly, and I
Yeah.
think it's a good weapon profile too. It's not even bad.
Oh yeah, no, dude, it's like 3 flat damage. Yeah, it's good. the saw is really good.
Yeah.
But I don't like anything that's like automatic like that.
I think it's
Like on a weapon profile, I mean.
I think it depends on the on what it's on, right? I wouldn't have a hive. I wouldn't mind a hive tyrant.
Nathan,
having a
I don't know
weapon
what that
auto
means.
wounds. I don't mind a demon weapon having a weapon that could auto wound.
I again think
I
that's
don't
something
think-
that should be reserved for an Imperial Knight hitting a guardsman.
I think you avoid
Yeah, exactly.
auto
But it's-
as much as you can in a D6
Yeah,
game.
I
just,
agree.
I mean that's true too, but I think it's I think it's
that's what Brad's saying,
sufficient,
Nathan.
right? Like I think you can do both, right? You could have a demon weapon do that and a knight do that. But
Nathan wants you in the campaign, I believe is what he's getting at.
The 39th. Okay.
Nathan,
What
our
about
game is
South
not going to
Dakota?
take 5 hours. Okay,
When are you guys playing?
I don't know yet, but it's not going to take 5 hours.
What army is he using?
He's
Death Guard?
using Death Guard.
Who's Death Guard?
Andy, no,
Um,
Lukey, Andy's. Not Smart Tim. Tony looked it up. Smart Tony. You know, like
What?
in Lord of the Rings, I might be Frodo because the camera's on me, but Tony's definitely my Sam. Meaning, we eat strawberries with sugar on them. We feed them to each other.
I also want to
Cream.
say like I don't want to be Sam. Like that's not a compliment.
I want to be a horse.
What do you mean?
Like that's an insult to Tony.
He carries me.
Sam is literally the worst character in the entire.
Sam is the
movie.
hero of the story.
Yeah.
And that's a shame
Why
because
is
he's
he
a
the
hobbit.
worst character?
He's the hero.
Dude, he's not heroic in any way.
What do you
he's not
mean?
he's not cool. He's
He
not
literally
interesting.
tracks down
I don't
Shelob
know,
in
man.
the Return of the King.
Get away
and
from him,
kills
you
him.
filth.
Like
No,
that's
he-
as heroic as you get.
He scares her off. I don't know if he kills her.
Whatever. Yeah.
You know who's a cool character? Aragorn.
Yeah, he's a cool character.
From the top down, he is like
Sure.
he should have been the hero of the
They're
entire
all pretty cool
entire
characters.
thing.
They all have their place. Is
I don't
what-
know.
Is what
I just
it is.
I don't like the whole like even the little guy can help thing. Like I don't like it. Just yeah, no.
What, the whole story's about a little guy throwing the biggest evil thing into a volcano.
And that's
That's
that.
the whole story.
I know, and that's my problem
and
with
it's
Lord of the Rings.
because they're little, they're able to do it. The big people can't do it. It has to be the
Well,
little.
isn't it? It's more about their heart, right?
Yeah.
Like the ring has a harder time corrupting them.
Yeah. Well, it's also based around the circumstances too in which you acquire the ring and yada yada. But yeah.
Well, right, but like
Yeah.
none of them have killed anybody.
Lit-
yeah.
Right.
Literally, just put it in a ring box, hand it to one of the fellowship,
No,
and
listen,
just be like, bro, go throw it in
I
the
think
volcano.
Lord of the Rings
Got it.
deserves a
What?
nuanced look because I think it's a really good story.
There's no reason that the ring has to be out in the open, touching his skin. Where it can
I
corrupt
think
him.
it's irrelevant if it's touching him.
Yeah, very much so.
That like the allure of the ring like supersedes the ring is just an allegory for power. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, but like literally, if you put it inside of a metal box where the box cannot be opened, like literally smelt it into a box,
What are you making this box out of?
metal. Like I said, metal.
I
Take two halves of a metal box, fuse the two pieces
Listen, I'm
together.
not saying it's
hand
perfect.
it to Aragorn.
They crack shields and stuff in that movie all the time.
I know,
you don't
but
think you can't open a metal box.
But I'm saying that like it can't allure you. if you
it'll
ca-
still be
Nathan,
found.
Sam is the
That's
hero
problem.
of the
No,
story.
I'm
He
not.
is
I'm
the
not talking
hero.
about found. I'm saying
I think-
then you hand it to a character that's actually cool and interesting, and tell them to
God.
take it to Mordor.
I think Tolkien actually said Sam was the hero.
Did he?
I believe I've heard that he said that.
I mean, he is the
Frodo literally could not have done it without Sam.
Well,
Right.
here's the
No,
thing.
I mean, you're right.
He couldn't have
But
done
that's
it
a shame.
without the help of. I mean, pick a character. Like
Well, I
they
mean,
all
sure,
they all
like,
played
that's,
their they all
that's
played
why
their
the
role.
fellowship matters. Like
Exactly.
they're important.
It's an
but,
important. It's an important story. He couldn't have done it without
Like, Faramir.
Boromir.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're absolutely right because Lurtz would have got him.
Lurtz wasn't in the book.
He wasn't in the book, but anyway.
But the Uruk-hai that were there were right.
He pulled
You know, I
he
don't
pulled
know.
all the he's in the book he still sounded the horn of Gondor, which still which
They just
still
say
pulled
orcs
all
a lot too. Like the goblins in
Uruk-hai?
Moria, I'm pretty sure is just orcs.
Uruk-hai are in the book.
yeah.
But,
Are they in the book?
Yeah, they're in the book.
I thought
Well,
I
yeah. I
heard-
mean,
He makes them at Isengard too. He makes them. Yeah, he's actually so the book or the movie is a little off pace. The movie's a little off pace with the books. So Saruman is already making the Uruk-hai by the time Gandalf shows up to talk to him.
Nathan Sam
And does
never
Gandalf
earns cool.
see him?
He never earns
He
cool.
doesn't see him making the Uruk-hai at that point. But he's already making them at that point.
Cool can be earned.
Not by Sam. He's a terrible
And
character.
in the movie, Sam is
Awful-
never tempted by the ring. Ever.
Awful character.
In the book, also, Saruman changes from Saruman the White to Saruman of many colors.
Really?
Really?
Yes. And he...
Well, we know that's coming to the Rings of Power.
but not for the reasons you might...
Oh boy.
But yeah, But yeah, so he abandons he abandons the monarchy.
well,
of
the
White.
white is like a title, basically,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's-
Like,
it's actually-
Gandalf comes back.
Yeah, it's bestowed on you by the Valar.
right.
Yeah. So like he's But when Gandalf,
It's a
comes back, he
weird
takes over
mythology.
light.
It's kind of hard to follow. I mean, it'd probably be easier for you to follow if reading the Silmarillion.
I'm telling you right. You read the Silmarillion, it explains so much.
Yeah, there's a
You're like,
lot just
oh,
kind of
okay.
dangling out there in
Yeah, exactly.
Lord of the Rings. But
Yeah.
listen, man, I agree. Aragorn's a really cool, compelling character.
But they all are.
I'm just saying that there's nothing cool, compelling, or interesting about hobbits.
I would say
not.
maybe there's nothing cool.
I think that's
I
the
would
point.
agree that.
I would agree with you, generally speaking. But I don't think Sam, Frodo, Merry, and Pippin are the run of the mill Hobbit.
I think
Well-
that's the point that they're not supposed to be interesting.
I mean that too.
Vaguely racial.
I mean-
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean,
Hobbits
sure,
aren't real.
I
It's
mean-
very, very much against hobbits.
Yeah,
I
no.
think hobbits are a ludicrous thing. Like I don't. If I were Tolkien, I would have told the story like without a hobbit. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand.
1,000,000,000%. Yeah.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, like,
It's
no-
literally-
All the Hobbit
It's
hate. I
lit-
don't
dude,
get it.
no-
I,
Gnomes and
dude,
hobbits?
I've literally always had hobbit hate.
Why?
Yeah, you're right. Gnomes and halflings.
What's
not-
wrong with
I want,
hobbits?
I want nothing to do with them
You
in
don't
role
like
playing games.
You don't like sure. Every game we play, I'm playing a gnome or a
Oh,
hobbit.
I hate it.
Not
so
in my
bad.
games. You're not.
Every
You know what
time.
the worst thing to me?
I'm gonna play a gnome warrior or something.
Not
I'm
in
gonna be
my
one of those
game, you're not.
ridiculous characters in World of Warcraft. I'm a gnome death knight.
I think the way rogues work in role playing games it very much irritate me. Like I just disappear and get a sneak attack. That is so stupid.
But like
I get it. Like that's
if
their
you're
thing,
talking
it's
about like
just-
what Jake did last time.
just the
like-
concept. I don't know specifically what he did, but like
You're
you're looking at me. I sneak attack you.
but I don't.
What about smoke bomb?
I've never
What
liked
about
it.
smoke bomb? Smoke bomb.
I mean, sure.
You gotta yell smoke bomb when you do it, but
Well, yeah,
Otherwise,
fireball,
you can
fireball.
still see you.
otherwise the smoke bomb won't detonate.
Oh,
so
got
you
it.
have to yell it, and then when it hits. the
Yeah,
ground,
like if you jump somebody in an alley, they don't know you're there. I'm totally for it. Open combat,
Yeah, but it's not a sneak attack in open combat.
sure.
You're using the same rules as
What
like
is it
damage
narratively?
modifier. That you're hitting, you're taking like a dagger and you're like I'm hitting you in the jugular vein rather than bringing a hammer down on your shield. I'm hitting you in a critical area
weak
that
point,
that will just kill you.
So deft blade or something like that. Just sneak attack implies they don't know you're there.
Yeah, and I mean there are sneak attacks, but like, and I don't
If
know.
they're
I
just
don't know.
mechanically a sneak attack, I'm okay with that. Narratively, it being a sneak attack, I've never been okay with.
But like when someone is already engaged with someone else and you just run up behind them and stab them, like I can totally understand that.
Sure. But like when they're looking at you
Yeah,
and you disappear.
Yeah, and I wouldn't ever narratively allow that to happen unless there's some kind of magical means involved.
And magic's a different. Yeah, that changes the equation altogether. Precision attack would. Yeah, I agree, Nathan. That would sound better.
Yeah.
It would make my narrative need. It'd fit my narrative need better.
Yeah. I mean, when it's the same mechanics, though, right? There's nothing wrong with calling it a sneak.
Yeah, who cares what the mechanics are? You know, it's just like when you're telling me narratively. So like, you know, when
Yeah,
you're
the
listening,
narrative's what's important, but if the mechanic's called sneak attack, then
right?
like you don't need two mechanics that do exactly the same
Sure,
thing with two different
sure.
names, just for
Yeah.
exactly.
So you parry this guy's attack and then you're gone and get double damage or whatever. I remember I've never liked that, but we actually have been playing some D&D and I do enjoy it more than I thought I would.
I'm really looking forward to playing more.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't get to play more. You just play 3 hours a month. That's our pace.
Well, hell, I could start.
I
don't
would
know.
like to play more so I can understand the system a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much the only one at the table that doesn't know what the hell I'm doing.
Well, I mean, I'm flying. I was flying by the seat of my pants. Like I was just like kind of, I had a little bit of opportunity to study up.
It doesn't help. D&D is it's very combat heavy, and combat just takes a long time. And I don't even think Mike's combats have been over the top.
No.
There's just always a lot to do, so there's a lot of time between turns sometimes. Yeah, I think
sometimes.
I think our pacing's been pretty good
Yeah,
as
but,
a table.
But like if the players know like have a good idea of what they want to do before their turn gets there, and also if they're aware of the initiative order, like you're like, oh, okay, so I'm on deck.
Right,
'cause this
Dakota
person's
just went.
going.
Now it's my turn.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you're because like when it got to me, like I would know. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm doing.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Nathan, as long as you're playing the game, regardless who it's with, it's going to hell.
Well, okay, so Nathan says he looks forward to the day he gets to play with me more without the game going to hell. I do feel like a lot of the games I'm involved with go to.
Terrible places.
Well, okay, so Jake's games have a tendency not to go off the rails, but they're like, things get hairy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And but I think that's just
part
part
of the
of
fun,
it.
though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
No one wants to play role-playing games. The
Nathan's problem is he
Sims,
doesn't
right?
like his
You wanna play
characters to
Sims.
die, and he had one of the best character deaths that I've experienced
Nathan did.
when he was Paul Douglas.
Paul Douglas.
It was so good.
killed.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
my
not trying to
goodness.
barb you, Nathan.
Hold on, who is
I don't mean it
who
as a
was
barb.
Paul Douglas?
It was his like lizard
was a lizard
lizard man bard or something, and he was hiding under the. He was pretending to be someone else when this assassin's gonna like come kill that person. So he's like hiding under the sheets, pretending to be that person, and so.
It was pretty funny,
I
dude.
guess
Like,
the
we
person-
talked about him having he was a raptor, right? He like had a bonnet on because he was like,
Red Riding
Is this
Hood.
in like Dungeon World?
Yeah, this was Dungeon
yeah,
World.
it's in Jake's We Bloody Few universe. And the bandit pulls the blanket back, and Nathan's like, I'm Paul Douglas, and he's got a cutlass, and he stabs the guy. The guy's like, what is this? And he ended up like falling down the stairs and getting killed, but it was just like,
I can't believe this was like a year ago. I can't believe you've never heard.
I
this.
am Paul Douglas.
Dude,
I'm
so
Paul
funny.
Douglas.
Said the
he was like a
lizard.
Pokemon.
And then
Yeah, Paul Douglas, the Digimon.
I wonder if you took a recording down of everything that happened.
Nathan, I think it was perfectly clever. It was so funny. It was so fitting.
It was
There's nothing worse
definitely
than trying to be
comic.
clever.
It was definitely comical.
Oh my god.
It's
get-
memorable.
You get yes,
fantastic.
exactly. You get points regardless of it
My
being
guy
clever
in
or
that
not.
game, in that like series of games, was a badass ranger.
Mm.
He does not hold a candle to the Paul Douglas, like the cinematic moment.
Who
you know
was
what I mean?
better? Who was better, Paul Douglas or Gromash Grim?
I was gonna say, and then the next time we play, we sneak into the same village, right? Actually, no. Were you part of that?
Wait, did
it
Paul
was
Douglas
this
die
one.
in that scene?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he died in that combat that took place in the house, like shortly after that. Like
Oh,
it spilled
okay.
down the stairs. But yeah, it was like he didn't die immediately, but he did die in that combat.
Okay.
But we were in this house and we're like, okay, listen, Brad.
Oh yeah.
What was his name?
Gromash Grimtooth,
And we're like, listen, Gromash,
big stupid barbarian.
we're mercenaries. You know we're mercenaries, but they can't know that. And as soon as he walks in the house, he's like, we're mercenaries of the bloody few, and we're like, literally, like,
I heard about this.
oh
yeah,
my.
no, he was the best character.
Who else were we playing with?
Best character I think I've ever created was Gromash Grimtooth. It would like
I don't know. Oscar Graveltoes was pretty
Oscar Graveltoes. So like I was gonna play Grimtooth in your RP, but in World of Warcraft, God, in Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
but with all the Hobbit hate going on, I think I'm gonna play a short guy named Oscar Graveltoes.
good. I literally
think
won't
you
let
should
you.
allow it.
Why?
I literally won't let
Why?
you because they're not cool, not interesting. Don't want them in my game.
What do you mean they're not cool and not interesting?
No.
How? How are they not cool and how are they not interesting?
We don't have enough time to tell this whole story.
No.
Just give me give me some reasons.
I think it would be better if you said what you enjoyed about them.
because they're different,
Dwarves are different.
I picture them as,
right? And they're different from dwarves.
I picture characters in D&D as being like heroic combat-based characters, and in a sense, it doesn't have
you can't have a heroic combat-based.
halfling barbarian. No,
I wasn't gonna.
I'm
I
just
would
gonna say-
play a rogue. I wouldn't play a barbarian.
Isengard fell to two hobbits on a
no,
tree.
no, it didn't.
Yeah, there's
It
a lot
fell
of
to
trees.
it fell to trees.
Did you-
The hobbits did nothing.
Actually,
I don't know. Did
once
you
ag-
see him whipping those stones?
Well, once again, the trees would have never been there for.
That's
one-
right.
Yeah, but
Mary
who did
tricked
all
him
the
into
who
going
did
to
all the
war.
ass beating? It was the trees,
I mean, sure.
which was the cool part.
Listen, man, nobody looks at a Super Bowl winning coach and say, "Well, hey, you didn't get any first downs, bro. It was your running back."
I'm just saying
Exactly.
it could have literally been any characters that said, "Hey, trees, they set stuff
But
on fire."
no
and shot
other
stuff down."
characters did what they did.
Sure.
Remember,
that's the
Sauron
point.
got defeated by
They-
accident.
What?
He was like reaching for a seal door, and the seal door was like, "Ah!" Got
Oh,
his cut the ring off.
okay.
You're talking about when he.
Yeah. I'm just,
Oh, you mean like why didn't he swing on him with his mace?
Yeah, just bury him. He did it to
How'd it happen?
battalions of men at a time.
I don't know if that's how it happened.
Why
in the
did
books,
Brad just get so much louder?
I don't know.
Because he was quiet before.
Oh, okay.
He's not quiet.
No.
now.
All right. Well, anyway,
Nothing.
I went too far.
yeah, I can see the.
I've gone back.
But yeah,
Gone
so
back.
I haven't made it to the War of Last Alliance, so I don't know how that.
Haven't made it to the what?
The War of the Last
Is that
Alliance.
the men and the elves?
Yeah,
And,
on the.
That's the end of the Second Age, right? Is the defeat of Sauron?
Yes, that's the end of the Second Age. Start of the Third Age.
Are your ears bleeding?
Yeah, no, just he did.
But yeah, so I think I'm gonna skip to the Third Age and read about the Witch King.
Nathan, I think Nathan says Dakota's rationale is why no one wants to play a healer / support.
What are you talking? No, you can absolutely be a cool healer support character.
What?
I love playing healer support characters. I'm just saying that, like, if you have to fight a dragon or something, if you fight an ogre, what does a hobbit do?
I mean, in D&D, you'd be a halfling, probably a rogue, right? So what does a rogue do against a dragon?
Well, yeah, a dragon I think is a poor. That's why I walk back dragon, because like everything's a hobbit to a dragon.
How do you fight a dragon?
I don't know.
And then in a combat situation, what does a rogue do then?
Did you have to?
And
be
then
like
why
level
is that
20?
different than because they're shorter? Why doesn't it?
I don't
Why
know.
can't they
I just-
use their size to their advantage?
I just have a really
Like,
hard
what
time.
is wrong about that?
I just have I just have a really hard time finding them interesting or like.
That can be a personal opinion of yours.
Yeah.
That is perfectly fine, but that doesn't mean that they're not.
I mean, to me,
Sure,
I just like.
absolutely.
I don't
you
know,
can
man.
have
I
your
just-
opinions. I don't care.
I just don't see it. Like if how are you gonna take a hit from something bigger than you when you're a hobbit and
that would be
survive?
that would be the idea.
You wear mithril.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
Nobody else gets hit.
The whole idea behind that is you wouldn't, right? That would be you using your small size to your advantage, avoiding people swinging large weapons who are more clumsy than you.
Do they have a bonus to armor?
What?
Hobbits and stuff.
Halflings?
Are they just base harder to hit in D&D?
Probably
No.
not. Probably not.
Ooh, that's not good.
No. Yeah. I mean that a lot of that is determined by your class.
Right.
I mean, there's some races like Warforged, they get +1 to their AC just because they're like
Metal people.
metal people. Yeah.
They're basically robots.
Warforged are actually like because Mike told me he wanted to be a Warforged wizard, and I was like, ugh, I don't know how I feel about these Warforged things. So I looked into them, and they're actually pretty cool. Like
some of the races in D&D make me a little nervous.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a dragon person.
yeah,
Or
but
I'm a
like
demon person.
like I had a little trouble with the Dragonborn
I'm
too.
a rabbit They have rabbit people.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen some of like the more exotic races.
Yeah.
But like when I think of like a Dragonborn, I just think of a Saurus, like from Blood Bowl,
Yeah, that's fair.
and that's kind of like the
That's kind
same-
of what Nathan was. Paul
Yeah.
Douglas.
Yeah, and so like that made it a lot easier. But like, and then like I think of like humans as being the baseline, right?
Right.
Everything else is like veers away from those, and it's hard for me to put in the same class. Like imagine me fighting a Dragonborn, like a Saurus,
right.
like
right.
what like. And I know not me, but like
I
a
get it.
heroic version of you.
yeah.
Yeah, but you're talking about a fantastical world.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah, I
not.
know.
Yeah,
it's
but I
not
think
the
if you
same
don't, if it's
thing.
not rooted in some type of like, it's gotta be tethered to something that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you gotta be able to-
I can see a guy swinging a sword. So
Right.
like, how do you employ that in
Yeah,
a
I get
magic
it. You got to be
world?
able to relate to it in some sort of way, but I mean, they're.
I find the more
in a-
fantastical
in a
things
world-
are without a rooting, it's harder for me to get into. Like the like Brandon Sanderson books.
Yeah.
Are everything is just so like their animals are like crab animals. Like they have big giant crabs pulling carts and stuff. And like
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
it's so far removed from like I can't relate.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
so
And
I need that. Like I can relate to elves and dwarves and orcs and stuff because I've seen so much of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure,
But-
sure. No, and I get that too. Some of it is, I find some of it weird too. It's one of my issues with D&D is how much of it there is. So like
I
you
kind
said
of like
earlier,
that because then if people want it, they can do it.
Well, I
I
know.
don't want to play rabbit people, but you know what?
I was actually just about to bring that up. So I don't like the idea of rabbit people either. To me, it seems like people with a sort of furry identity.
Furry
just
isn't like Shaggy. Or?
no, like
Like need to be hit with a flamethrower.
Yeah, exactly. That needs to be that the Black Templars are raising a crusade against. Flash gets is hilarious. But anyway, so
Are Flash gets furries?
no, but they literally have. I should show you. They literally have this entire animated YouTube series. It's poorly animated, but it's about Black Templar Space Marines, running a crusade against a race of furries. It is fantastic.
Whoa.
And how like the furries are like a disease. And like they capture one who's interrogating. He's like, I remember when I was just a normal person.
Dear God.
And like he starts like it's insane. You should watch. It's so funny. It's so funny. But anyway, that is so far removed from what I was talking about. But yeah, it like when you get into that realm, right, where it seems more like people trying to live out a weird fantasy opposed to just playing a game. Then yeah,
Well, you
I
know,
get that.
They just like the halflings and gnomes. They just take me out of it.
Why?
They ruin my immersion for what could actually be going on.
Well, I'd see. So the bunny person to
That's
me.
how the rabbit people are for me. I'm
Yeah,
with you on the Hobbit stuff, but I can live
have
in
no
a
idea
world
what you're
where
talking about with these rabbit people.
Dude,
Well,
there's a, I don't
I've
know.
never seen
Tony, will
these.
you look up D&D
Because they're not in the base player's
No,
handbook.
no, no,
So,
they're-
so
they're-
like,
Oh, okay. Well, then that's
Yeah.
That is literally probably some fan made stuff where it's like people
it
trying
could.
to
Well, I mean,
live off of weird
there's
stuff.
supplements that add more races. So like they very well could
Okay,
be.
well then maybe it's
so
not.
that,
Then. I
I mean,
don't know
that,
very much
that
about.
comes. That,
Homebrew
that makes
page.
for like an
Rabbit.
interesting.
Yeah, it's.
So when you're
homebrew.
talking tabletop games, everything is like, it's all consent based initially, right? Like, you have a group you're playing with, right? So if somebody came to the table and was like, man, I really want to play this rabbit person, like, you don't really have the right to tell them no, but like, I think it's fair for you to say, listen, man, if you're a rabbit person, like, I can't take you serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a give and take.
Yeah,
Because
well, this is
you
why.
want people to play what they want to play.
Right. This is why I like rules.
Well,
This is
there
why-
are rules for the. I mean, nothing
Well,
rule-wise
he
is
just
keeping a rabbit
he
out
just
of there.
he just looked it up. The rabbit stuff is homebrew.
I don't think it is. I think there's a. I understand that was a homebrew page, but I'm pretty sure. Nathan, do you know? I wish Andy was watching. He would know.
But yeah, and
They just came out with like a fairy tale. I mean,
Thank you, Nathan.
Oh, the rabbits. Okay, so the rabbit stuff is official. So yeah, it's,
What's that book?
This is Candlekeep Mysteries.
campaign.
That might be a campaign supplement.
yeah.
Some of the campaigns, I believe, add.
Oh, they very well might. Like
Yeah.
there were like even in that dragon book there were like additional dragonborn like customization options, and like if you wanted to be like a gem dragon, then like there's rules for that or whatever.
See, and that's the other thing too. Like I like character customization options for the player characters, but you've really got to be careful on how far you take it and how much of a strain that's going to be on your DM.
Right.
Because like if you're going to impose a bunch of rules on your DM that he's at first not even aware of, and then second
Well,
like he's
Well, your DM has the
on-
final
on-
say, but I think it needs
On
to be a
things,
conversation.
yeah,
right?
and but things
Yeah.
like that most of the time it's like, hey, instead of getting like this +1 bonus to your strength, you're getting a +1 bonus to agility, which doesn't really weigh on your DM.
Yeah, sure.
It's more just like, hey, this is like a different way I can build my
Yeah.
guy.
yeah.
And so like now if it's like suddenly like I have a character race that can teleport once a day. It's like that's something that can impact your DM.
yeah.
It's like that's something I need that like now I need to suddenly be aware of.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Just
don't
as like
think-
just as an extreme to throw out.
I don't think
that's-
role-playing
and that's
games
what
are a
I'm
good
talking
place
about.
for like gotcha. I don't think gotcha should exist in maybe any game. I mean, poker maybe.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Poker's
I don't know.
Literally
It's
gotcha.
pretty good on chess.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but like, how can they really get you?
well,
You got the
gotcha.
same pieces.
Well,
right?
the gotcha isn't.
Oh yeah, I know.
Gotcha is like gotcha. I got this rule. Not I set up a trap for you in chess,
Yeah.
right? So,
Right, right.
Gotcha is when you get someone
Not
on
that
a
I
rule that
outplayed
they
you.
didn't know existed.
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
Right.
yes.
That's what it is.
What's that?
So like,
This is Xanathar's? No,
but right now
I can't read that font.
Is that D&D or what is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Mornithan, I don't know. I
Got a
can't
bunch
read
of books.
There's so many books. There's one coming out in November, I think. That. Will you look up the next D&D book out, Tony?
They were they have playtesters. Like they have it's called like is it I think D&D 1. I think
That's
think
the
it is.
next edition.
D&D 1.
but it's like
It's in beta.
yeah, so they have playtesters like
So it's
you know
almost
just
done
like for
then.
40K. They
Yeah.
have playtesters for, you know, all their stuff, and they're talking about like I come across videos where they're talking about a new race. Because, like, you know what a tiefling is?
Yeah, I know
and,
what a
and
tiefling is.
it's basically
It's like a
like
demon.
it's like kind of like a half demon thing.
Yeah.
They have a new race that's like it's a half angel, like
Yeah.
it's like half divine being, and so it's like, you know, the other side of the coin to
Yeah.
that. Which I thought that's a cool concept. Like, you know, as a
I
character.
mean, sure. See, and that's I don't know. Like
What's this one?
to me,
coming
those
out?
I'm not sure if this is it.
I think that might be it.
to me having those as player characters, I don't have a problem with those existing in the game world. For me, having those as player characters where they start at a level 1, just I don't get that. Like if you're half angel or half demon, why do you suck?
Okay, so maybe not angel, maybe that's the wrong word, but like some kind of divine entity.
They have something like that, right?
That's apparently coming out in a new
Oh,
book.
that's not.
Yeah.
Yes.
These look like add-ons, or
Yeah.
they don't look like new additions or
Yeah,
anything.
Critical Role is like the biggest role-playing stream in the world.
Dude, they stream a lot. Like
They're also professional voice actors.
They
and
have
stuff.
they have like campaigns that are like hundreds of sessions.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
yeah.
That's cool.
But I mean, they make a ton of money. People love it. You know what I mean? But
It's just
A little off subject.
It
not
looks
very
like the
much.
next full
did Free
edition
League
is
ever come out
2024.
with an alien expansion?
yeah, they come out with a couple of them.
Okay, cool.
They've done different ones. Like they've done like little mini campaigns.
Yeah, they did like standalone stuff too.
But
didn't
I guess the first full expansion was the Colonial Marine book.
Yeah, okay. That one's a standalone, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you still need the base game. But
Oh,
it's-
okay.
Yeah, it's a full book. It's the size of the base book.
Okay, but you still need the base book.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that they still support their stuff because I am looking forward to a couple of the expansions they could theoretically do for Lord of the Rings. Because
They really should.
well, if they can, they could literally explore the whole breadth of the.
We
of
could
the-
go past Middle Earth too, right?
Tim,
yeah,
Nathan-
technically, yeah.
Nathan asked if
I don't know if you would.
teams in the campaign are they bound to a certain subfaction?
Numenor.
Okay, so
Narratively speaking, it probably makes sense.
they should be. Yes, I didn't officially say that. I think they should be. I think the intent would be just play your. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
so,
you have multiple factions per team anyway.
you know, you've got one orc clan that's here slugging it out.
Right.
You don't have a
Right.
different orc clan showing up to every fight.
Yeah.
Is the sound still bad?
My ears are in pain, so
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I turned it down. But anyways, it looks like the next edition is coming out in 2024.
Edition of D&D.
No,
Yeah.
so there's still about a year and a half.
That's what I heard from John.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. I think 5th edition's so far. I really
What
like.
year did 5th edition come out?
It's been out for a while. It's been out
Yeah,
for
it's been a couple years.
Well, 5th edition was out when the store
was
opened,
open.
so
yeah,
oh,
so it's at least 6-7 years.
yeah, 7 years minimum if
Yeah.
it came out in 2015.
It's been around for a while. It's really good. I always get nervous when they do stuff like that. They take a really good system like 5th edition has been and just make something like we're gonna make a new one. Like,
Hello,
December 9th, 2014.
December 9th.
Oh, wait.
of 2014.
Sorry. No, that was the Master's Guide. September 30th of 2014.
2014. Okay.
Oh, so it's barely.
Was
old
that the
as-
So it'll
player,
be
was
10
that the
years.
player's handbook?
No,
I'm
when
sorry.
it
That was
comes
yeah,
Monster
when it comes out,
Manual.
it'll
I was
have
like,
been 10
Brad, that's
years.
not math, but yes,
That was Monster Manual. I'm not.
So they all
sure.
came out at different times. I figured like those 3 books would be.
you would
like-
think they would have launched with them, right?
I would have
But-
figured those 3 books are like the edition.
Yeah, but like you said, you can run a game
Monster
with just a
Manual,
player
DM,
handbook,
and-
right?
Yeah, I suppose,
yeah.
but like, I mean, there's still like a fair amount of rules stuff in the DM guide.
I remember for a long time there was just kind of the core books. There's so many now.
Yeah.
But like looking back at some of the 3.5 books that I've seen come in,
Oh
you know,
god, there were so many.
so many. Well, leased out might not be the term, but like the Roll20 system, like there was a Lord of the Rings version of D&D 3.5, and I think there is for 5th now also. Like,
Oh,
you
really?
can play Lord of the Rings with the D&D
mechanics.
Yeah, so I mean, from reading the DM guide, it makes me realize like how like freeform D&D can be. Like,
You mean narratively, or
yeah. So like, so say you just have a really hard time getting over the idea of a dragonborn being in your game. You can just be like, okay, well they're not.
Yeah, I think
Like just because you're playing D&D doesn't mean you're playing in the D&D universe.
I think
And-
that's incredibly important.
And they make that very clear.
Yeah.
They're like, they
You're playing a fantasy role playing
Yeah.
game.
when they go into like the DM guide, there's a section where they're like, hey, so think about what your world is. It's like, here's some questions to like get your brain going. Like, are you in like a super magically imbued world? Like, does every town have like a high powered wizard at like leading it, or is like magic super rare and uncommon, or even not exist at all in your world? Like it's like there's just a
That's
lot
the
of
beauty of tabletop role playing games.
Yeah.
Because you literally the game master makes their world. You know what I mean?
and like they break down like, hey, here's D&D like as we've created it. Here's like the base assumptions of what that world is, and it goes through like, hey, the world is ancient, it's very unexplored, there are gods that rule everything, and it's like all of this is a sandbox, and you do what you want with it or don't.
Do they
Like-
encourage you to make your own like monsters and bad guys? And
Yeah,
stuff?
there's an entire chapter called like the Dungeon Master's Workshop, where it's just tools to make your own stuff. Like make your own magic items. Like there's like a monster generator, and it reminded me a lot of that one that you were telling me about in the
Lord of the Rings.
in the Lord of the
one,
Rings
yeah.
game. But
yeah,
like
what are they called? Creatures from the abyss
No,
or the
it's like,
shadow
it's
or
like the
something?
unnamed one or
like
something.
Unnamed
the creature
beast or
without
something
a
like
name.
Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
like that.
And it's like there's even
It's at the
rules
back.
for like, hey, this is how strong it is and what it can do. Here's how you determine what its challenge rating is, so you don't put it up against players and kill them.
The nameless thing.
Oh man, that makes me think. So this guy came in, just a customer came in. I don't know, 2 months ago now. He was telling me about a conversion book.
Mhm.
There's like one of you guys in the chat might know. There's like a series of books that allow you to convert stuff like from D&D.
Like
To Fate.
unofficial books.
Yeah, well, it's
Like-
like an equivalency, if I could speak. I wish I could remember what they were, but literally, like you could take a D&D like dragon and put it in Fate, or you
Yeah.
could put it in this game.
Mhm.
That's a brand new game, so
Right.
That
So,
might
but
not be the best.
does it like list like multiple games and like
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
point of the book is to take
It's
like
to convert existing stuff from other systems into
other existing
So if
systems.
there's something you like in
So it's not a book specifically to convert stuff into Fate. It's to convert
No, but
stuff
just
into
like-
multiple books.
yeah, it's like a Rosetta Stone.
Okay,
so you
cool.
could go from D&D to Fate or
I see. So it
Alien
takes-
to D&D.
It takes stats.
I don't know if there's the right system.
It
but-
takes stats
And converts them. Yeah,
over
con-
into
That's really cool.
what the mechanics
Yeah, it
would
was
be.
really, and when you're saying that, like, how,
That's
that it
interesting.
just made me think of that. I wish I could remember what that was.
Insert a dragon into Alien. How would you do that?
Fate. I'm not
Well,
a
aliens are kind of just like
Yeah,
they
I
call
know.
them the dragon. Like the third
Yeah.
movie, the lore is like, is it the beast or the dragon?
Let's not talk about the third movie.
The third movie's not bad. The fourth one is bad. The third one on the prison planet's pretty good.
hey,
You
speaking
gonna come at me about the Adventures of Mudman?
You think the
when
third mo-
when
the
you're
third
gonna talk to me
alien's
about
bad?
Alien? Oh,
Alien, that's not.
So,
Resurrection is bad.
Resurrection is
speaking
terrible.
of movies, I did watch The Thing.
Oh, you
And I-
did?
and I
That's
don't-
right.
Oh, it's
I don't thi-
fantastic.
And
We
I
didn't
don't
talk
think
about
we
it last
talked
week.
about it
No, we
on,
did
on,
not.
on the
It's
stream,
super
but
good.
But after our like movie episode a few weeks back, I went home that night and I rented and watched The Thing.
And it
It's
changed
worth
your
every
life.
dime. Right?
I'm not gonna say it changed
It's
my life.
super good.
It was a good movie. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate
for
it.
early.
I
80s,
don't think I'm willing to call it super good, but it was good. I liked it. Okay,
What'd you think of that hat, dude? That hat is legendary.
hat.
You know that's 100 beaver hat.
Oh,
Kurt
McCready's
Russell's hat. Yeah,
Mc-
McCready's hat.
McCready's hat. Yeah.
I guess
100 beavers in that.
Well,
bad
we
boy.
don't know
Holy
what
crap.
the beaver count is exactly.
Well, listen, if you're going for the best, most McCready hat, you're using 100 beavers.
Like,
there was a
it-
king. I don't remember where in Europe, but he had a coat made of squirrel. I think it was squirrel. It was made of over like 1,000 squirrels.
You know Fat Joe, the rapper?
Yeah,
he's got a chinchilla coat.
like
You know how big that dude is and how small chinchillas are?
like a
Those
chinchilla genocide. Just so
Yeah.
this guy
yeah,
could coat.
you had to
clothe
put
Fat
those
Joe.
things through a wood chipper and like just dear.
That's very bad for the fur.
Yeah, I was about to say I wouldn't do that. And
you
the wood,
imagine that just-
yeah, that could be bad for the wood chipper too. All that fur gunking up.
So
the-
much rodent murder.
Yeah, who was the? It might not have been a king. It might have just been like a nobleman who had he just had a big coat made of 1,000. Was it? I think
Was it like just the tails?
I don't know. I imagine it was the whole squirrel for the most part.
Because like if
but-
it's just the tails, you don't even got to kill squirrels. You just take like a pair of garden shears and just go find a bunch of squirrels.
all right. Since you watched The Thing, I challenge both of you to go home and watch The Color Out of Space. It's a fantastic movie
Okay,
with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, the color out of
Watch it.
space. That's what it was.
That
Color Out
night
of
we
Space.
were to
But I liked it.
Coat made of
20,000
1,000
squirrels.
Holy God,
Well, I mean, dude, you don't. Get
Oh, was
much.
it 20,000? I
You
thought it was
don't
just
get much.
1,000.
dude, squirrels aren't that small. Into one coat?
Yeah,
Like,
but
what-
like,
Yeah, but you're talking
not-
about
you
like
can't
a
use their
nobleman's
leg
coat.
fur.
Like he wants to look. He wants to look like he has a lot of money. So like I imagine the more squirrel
More
you
importantly,
use,
tell me
the more
what-
fur you use, the more money you look like you have.
Tell me what you thought
I
about.
think
the
it was
thing.
England. I think it was England.
I liked
'Cause-
the thing. I don't know. I liked it, and like there were times where I was looking at the effects and I was like, you know what, it's not good, but it's old, and like I can look past it.
Well, they're all practical. Like all
Yeah,
those
sure,
were props.
yeah, I know.
Like, they
I
didn't have-
get that.
They didn't have.
I get that, and I'm not casting judgment based on any visual effects.
That is quite a leap for you.
I know.
That is.
I know
That's a big
that's-
step for you.
That's
Well,
difficult.
it's, I mean, that stuff can be hard
Um,
to look past. I mean, that's
People talked. I've heard people talk about the ending before, and say that it was like super up in the air.
I think it's
and-
less up in the air.
And like when and you know
I mean-
and I thought about that before going into it, and I was just like I don't get a ton of ambiguity out of the end of that movie.
Okay, so what do you think the ending meant?
I think he blew up the thing and happily ever after, assuming they survive.
Oh.
I think it ended.
That's where the ambiguity
I
comes
think-
in,
I
because
think
that's
it-
not what I thought at all.
because I think it and I think like it ended pretty abruptly. Like I don't think it had an
Well,
appropriate
okay,
ending.
so you probably didn't think of this. So he was using that was gasoline in that thing.
Gasoline.
At the end, he takes the shot, or he gives the shot to the
Yeah.
what's the black guy's name?
I don't remember.
The dad
Childs.
from what is it?
Childs.
Yes.
Childs. He gives Childs a drink, and he
Mm-hmm.
drinks it, and doesn't wince drinking gasoline.
It was
He
gasoline.
used
Yes.
to blow up to set the fire, and that's why he gave it to him to see if he reacted. So there is ambiguity.
Child of thing.
McCready knew he was going to die.
You're
also.
Yeah,
you're
it-
sure it was like a whiskey bottle.
Well, I'm not sure. That's why it's ambiguous.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure,
but
but
I don't
it's-
think he was pouring out of that whiskey bottle though.
Maybe.
unclear.
That's the point. That's the point.
I mean him
It's
not
so
him
good.
not wincing if it was gasoline like that. That's pretty cool. But like I don't know.
That's the whole point.
But he
Dude, what about when
he
the one
drank
guy
it though? Like McCready was drinking it before he handed it to him.
was he?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well,
Well, McCready
yeah.
knew he was resigned to his fate. Remember? 'Cause,
And so he's gonna drink literal gasoline that you'd
would
get out
would
of
you
a
rather
gas,
freeze to death?
then drink gasoline.
I mean, gasoline. If you drink gasoline, what that's gonna do is shut down your kidneys,
Yeah, you're not gonna.
and then you're gonna die of.
Listen, man,
kidney
he already
failure.
knew. All I'm saying is he knew he was going to die.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they died at the end of that movie. Like, they got nobody coming in
So
the
did you
middle of
know?
Antarctica.
You probably
They
didn't
ain't
know
going
this.
anywhere.
The Finnish guy at the beginning that comes trying to shoot the dog.
Oh,
He
yeah.
tells you the whole plot in Finnish.
Yeah,
He tells you that there's something not right
it
with the
Finnish?
dog. Get away from the dog, you idiots! Before
Yeah.
they kill him.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
what he shot. Yeah,
That's
what he
pretty cool.
shouts.
It's really
Yeah.
cool.
That's pretty cool.
So it's like
I was I was wondering why there are no subtitles, but like that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, like when I saw him like shooting at the dog, I'm like, why are they like, what's up with this dog? And then like I was like, oh,
Then you
okay,
see-
so it's like the
Then
thing.
you see what's up with the dog.
Yeah, it starts assimilating all the other dogs. You're like, I am mega dog.
I also don't I don't agree with like why it just why show its hand, like why just go murking dogs.
make it more powerful. I'm guessing.
Maybe I guess.
Starts
Dude,
eating.
the
it needs
most
to eat.
horrific part of
I
that
mean,
whole
like,
movie is when the one
you don't
guy
know
like
anything about it,
wanders
so
out
it's hard to tell.
into the snow, and they like all surround him, and he like turns and like screeches at him.
Yeah.
That's the most horrific part of the movie.
Yeah.
You're like, that's like true horror. You're like, oh my god.
So
It was also like they discovered like the spaceship underneath their camp.
No, it's not near the Finnish camp, I believe.
yeah, it's in the
No.
Is there one at
there's
their outpost?
there's the guy that they there's the guy that goes nuts and like starts breaking all the equipment and like he's shooting the place up and they're like, dude, you need to calm down, and he's like, he's the one who figures out first that things aren't right and that people aren't who they say, like are saying they
Is
are.
that Wilford Brimley?
And so
Start
like
shooting him.
so they they grab him and they take him outside
Tony, you got the
into
thing
like
on that computer?
the cabin.
You got the thing on there?
They take him into the cabin. They like lock him up in
Oh, the
there
computer.
outside
Right
by
on.
himself, right?
I'm pretty sure it's Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like underneath his little cabin thingy, underneath the shack,
oh, that's right.
there's
There
like
was
there's
something
like a
that.
ship down there that he was building, and it's like
No.
this had to have been for like months, right? Like
I love it.
I gotta go back and watch that movie now.
I love that movie. I really
The
enjoy
fine,
that
there's some
movie.
of the fine details I miss. But, so Color Out of Space, Nicolas Cage, it's really good. In the Mouths of Madness,
what is
Also fantastic.
What is that one? Is that
So-
like don't without telling me, because I literally, you know what, or is it better if I just literally know nothing? Because like knowing like that the thing
I
could
I
be
can-
people kind of ruined a little bit of the movie.
yeah. So I can give you the base plot without ruining anything. You figure out kind of what's going on in the first 10 minutes of the movie. So basically, what happens is this writer, this Stephen
This
King,
is Mouths of Madness.
yeah, the Stephen King.
Partial fan for what? What are you talking about, Nathan? Go
The
ahead.
Stephen King-esque writer. There's the Stephen King-esque writer, right? He writes all these horror stories.
Yeah.
He has gone missing, and they hire a PI, who is the guy.
Is this the one where like they like the stuff the writer started writing, like stuff starts happening from what he's written?
I mean, you're gonna have to be more specific.
I think when we talked about it a little bit before, like I compared it to Alan Wake, how like things
Maybe.
that he's written like kind of start to happen.
It's a lot different than that.
Okay,
It's not
that's
that
that's enough then.
Yeah, it's a little bit it's a little bit more extreme than that.
Okay, that's enough then. I'll watch
So
it.
watch that, and then
Color
Out of Space is Nicolas Cage is based. I think he's some sort of scientist. I think.
Didn't you say that one was like 2018, 2019?
Yeah, that one's fairly recent.
Yeah.
A couple years. Yeah. So he's like a scientist or something. They live out in the middle of kind of out in the middle of nowhere. They're out in the country. They got like this nice big lake that they're on, but no one else is on it. No, they're near a lake. Excuse me, they're not on it. And this giant fucking asteroid comes out of space, like lands on his property, and it's like this nice bright purple, and then things just start like
Happening.
yes, like it starts at like, you know how the thing happens, and like as soon as the dog gets there, like you're there.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to that point eventually in the movie. It's just it doesn't happen right away. It goes from 0 to like that level of stuff happening. So it's very.
Okay, let's talk.
Yeah,
campaign
it's a
real
love.
quickly.
They're both Lovecraft stories.
Let's
They're
talk
both
campaign
Lovecraft
real
stories.
quick here. 'cause
They're
we're
really
running out of
good.
time.
Really good movies.
They have a back alley 40K game at midnight tonight. Are they playing tonight?
Who?
Nathan? Jake and Andy. So Andy has to play Nathan, and no, he plays Jake. Damn, who the hell plays?
They have a back alley game. Where are they playing?
Well, they're playing here, but Andy's got a key.
Oh,
I don't know if they're playing tonight though.
when? I was about to say if they're playing, I'll come out and hang out with them. I don't care how late or early. It might be like it might be like 7, 8 in the morning.
I mean, maybe that's.
Because that's like Jake doesn't stay up late; he gets up early. So it could be like 6 a.m.
I thought they said, well, Andy stays up late. I don't know, but there's there are how many city fights this round? Just the 2? No, I'm attacking the city also.
There's gonna
I
be
played-
a lot of dead armies after.
People are they're not anticipating the attrition that's going to happen.
No.
So Luke, he blew up a tank commander turn 1, and he's dead. He's out of the
Do,
list.
do you think it's going to be problematic that like every time something dies, it's just gone from the game?
I actually came up with a really.
I don't think so.
So I'm coming up with my own 40K campaign, and I'm gonna, and instead of like building with points with like requisition points, I think there's just gonna be certain spaces on the board that if that army is in, it can replenish its forces. I think is what I'm gonna do. So and then do like different things like that with like the first time you take a spaceport, you get another army on the table. So you can get another force that you can customize and stuff. And then if your forces are reduced below 2,000 points, instead of just having an army that's below 2,000 points, you can reinforce that army with troops and non-vehicle elites. So you would have a worse force theoretically, right? But it would still be a functioning 2,000 point list. And yeah, your next game you better chance of losing, but you'll still do a lot more damage to your opponent. And I think what that'll do is if the factories are correctly spaced out, what you'll have is a lot of fights, 2,000 point games, but they're going to be very infantry heavy, troop heavy, elite heavy games, in which that'll create a lot of cool experiences and stuff. And it's also kind of narrative too. So like why elites? Because you can have like Terminators teleporting into the field to replenish your forces. You can have dudes being dropped off and Valkyries and Thunderhawks and Mantas flying overhead dropping off.
Because there's a Manta over every battlefield.
Exactly.
There is, in fact.
But anyway, that's exactly so that's why I think there's a lot of really cool.
I
narrative
encourage
opportunities.
everybody to try to set up a campaign.
Yeah.
I really do.
So I've got a lot of thoughts. I think you've done a lot of really good work.
It's been fun so far. I mean, I love the bid system. I didn't think of it. I stole it from War Room, but I like it because I mean it's going to get real interesting once armies start getting hurt and like you're like I want to get out of here and go hide in my city, and somebody's like, nope, I've got initiative, and they come in and catch you and eliminate you from the game.
And so yeah, I think I'm just gonna come up with like varying and different objectives for people too, depending on what your faction is. And I think the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the campaign span a set number of turns.
That's what this one is. This is 6 turns.
6 turns. Oh,
Yep.
really? I
And
thought
just
it was longer
and
than
just
that.
like at 6 weeks.
Yep.
And just
I
at
actually didn't know that.
the end of the 6 weeks, then like just whoever has like the most.
Well, yeah, like if any team ever captures all 6 cities, I can't remember. There's a couple victory conditions. Like
but
the
like-
campaign can end. Like I mean, it's
but
over
like
at that
that's
point anyway.
automatic
Is that
game.
Yeah,
possible?
I mean it is, but like
You can't.
I think what is it? If somebody has 50 RP, they win. I don't know. There's like three of them, and then
3 actual victory conditions.
yeah, and if none of them are met, we just call it at the end of the 6th round, and then
How do you determine a winner?
it'd be based on tiles.
Just like the
overall.
sheer amount of
Yeah.
territory.
Yeah, so I think what mine's gonna do is it's gonna do like base tiles are worth 1 point, special tiles like factories and stuff are worth 2, and then everyone's gonna have a base of operations that's worth 3. So, and you can't win if your base of operations has been taken.
There's
You have
some
to take that
STL
back.
files of people obviously they've made stuff for that campaign board, but there's a hive city that's 3 tiles.
Oh wow.
It's pretty cool, and it fills up. So you know what I mean. That it's one that it's like 3 just printed all as one, and it's just like a massive hive city. And Lupke's gonna look into them, but I thought that would be cool too. Like then like you fight in the city, and you're not taking the whole city in one turn. You know what I mean? One campaign round. But
Like it takes up 3 tiles. Is there a spot for a flag in each one of the 3?
I would assume so. I didn't really look. I just saw it. Like I was looking
you
for.
could you could drill that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so.
It wouldn't be hard to add.
You were just saying that city tiles could last for multiple rounds.
If it's like that one is 3, it's 3 of the tiles conjoined in one. So it's
I see.
Yeah, so it's like a massive hive city.
I see. So it's like a big. Okay.
So you'd be fighting. Like you might the other hive cities are like regional cities, and then those are like capitals you could use.
Because I also had the idea of like a hive city taking multiple turns to so like you play the initial battle. And then you play another battle, and then maybe 2 rounds to take a hive city. Although I also thought that might just be too hard.
In War Room,
I'm talking having to have 2 consecutive victories in order to take one.
in War Room, when you play your you know, because you do the same thing. You move into tiles and you fight.
Yeah.
You roll like an Axis and Allies type battle. It's different because the dice are different, but
Yeah.
you can have 100 attacks there, but you only ever roll 30. You roll 3 batches of 10.
Yeah.
And if you don't win, that zone becomes embattled. So like
Okay.
those armies that you put there, if somebody's not wiped out after 3 rounds of combat, next turn they're fighting there regardless. So you can basically, it's really cool because like it creates these quagmires and you start pouring men in. You know what I mean? It's
That
pretty
makes
cool.
China the worst.
China.
Although China
that
might
game
not be
needs-
that bad. You
that
shouldn't
game's
have.
so good, but it does need a little bit of refining because China's very like they don't have any oil and you can't bid without oil. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but-
They're resource poor,
Yeah, well, I mean,
so they
were
basically can build only infantry.
they were like everything poor back
Well, right,
then,
and
too, so I mean, it
that's-
makes sense.
You can get bogged down a little bit, but like I killed Ted's Chinaman pretty quick. But
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, you guys got anything else to add? It's after 10 or here.
Where
so.
the hell are the Amazons?
I don't know. Hey,
They've got to be coming soon.
we're our
man.
Imperial Guard, man. Who knows?
Don't talk to me.
Who knows?
Well, Lumineth are they're coming in the next week or two.
no one cares.
Zinch just is coming out.
Zinch.
And for Sigmar. I really like the Sigmar cover art on these books.
I keep forgetting like Zinch has their own army in Age of Sigmar.
I
Yeah.
think that's how it should be in 40K too. I love.
I mean-
there's a mortal. All the gods now have a mortal faction in
They-
Sigmar.
They do
and
do
I
it in
love
40K. They just don't have the model support to make it like interesting.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem. Like,
Yeah,
they need to.
I
Come
think
out
they
more
could.
models. but
Okay,
they
so
just
like
don't.
every.
They just won't.
I think it's
There's
more
not-
interestingly done in Sigmar.
It is. I mean, it's-
like because you have like the mortal aspect, like combined with
there's
the
a lot
demons.
more people in 40K though.
No,
right? Like,
sure, but like outside of Chaos Space Marines,
Though,
like
yeah.
how are you gonna have? Not that you couldn't. But
Trader Guard needs to be a thing.
yeah,
Trader Guard needs to flat out be a thing.
I'd be very cool with that.
What do you? I don't know. I got mixed feelings about Trader Guard.
Dude, as long
Not-
as it's not more bastardization of like the main faction, where it's just like, hey, we got rhinos too, guys.
But that's what I'm saying though. Is like, how do you do that without?
just like
without
why
doing
can't
that,
why can't you have cool chaos vehicles? Like
What do you
like oh,
like
why
different,
does
like-
well, yeah, why was it like, yes, hey Space Marines, you get this nice Razorback. Look how cool this thing is. And like all the options, it's like take your rhino and shut the hell up.
Well, you know, some,
Oh,
like,
you're.
They said it came later, but like, couldn't they just steal that?
Couldn't
stuff?
they just like literally just duct tape the turret to the
Well,
top?
there's nothing wrong with the Chaos Space Marines and regular Space Marines should have different options.
100%.
They should
Like
have
in
different
fact,
options.
like they probably shouldn't even have a rhino. They should have something different and cool.
Yeah, I mean, but they should have some of the same options.
Okay,
though,
so
too.
like maybe not literally not have a rhino,
Like,
but
it's
like
okay that they have a rhino. No one
Horus
takes them
Heresy
anyway.
why,
They're
why does their Land Raider have only one option? Like give them different
Yeah.
like variable options on a
They
Land
couldn't
Raider
put
too.
more flavors on it.
but different.
Yeah,
but different,
different.
options.
Not
a Crusader,
not a Land Raider Crusader. Yeah,
but something else. I agree with that. I absolutely.
that's why they
Nathan
should
wants to know
just
if you would
have.
like a Helldrake if it turned into transport.
no.
The Helldrakes.
I
are
think
just-
it should be able to transport 2 infantry models in its feet.
if Helldrakes were.
be a demon prince.
If Helldrakes weren't the only flying option in
has
the
its own
entirety of
wings, but it's
Chaos,
lazy.
I would like them.
Huh?
If Helldrakes were not the only flying option in the entirety
Yeah,
of
that
chaos,
needs to change.
I would like them.
That needs
The
to
fact
change
that
I-
they have
a long
Hellblade
time
I
fighters from
hate
Forge World that
them.
look sweet.
Yeah.
I hate them because they are alone. That's why I hate
Helldrake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like we
agree.
span the galaxy on our dragon
Not
puppies.
just the galaxy.
Well,
the warp.
let's be fair. They don't simply because everything listed in their codex isn't everything that exists in the universe.
Yeah.
Like they don't.
But why haven't they gotten that support? GW. I just
Dakota? You are preaching to
I'm
the
not
choir,
even I'm not
man.
even a chaos player, and it boils the fuck out of my blood.
Like
I
look
don't
at
wanna
I've
talk
been
about
I've been
blood.
complaining about the Thousand Suns line for literally years at this point. And what have they gotten in since they've come out? A
okay,
character.
so I'm gonna say to you what GW just hasn't done. Okay, take your Mutalith Vortex Beast and shut the hell up.
I won't because that's not what I want. I wanted 1,000
I mean,
Suns model.
I'll be
That's
honest.
what I
Like,
want.
it's cool. It's just like
It's not why you play the
where's,
Army.
Where's all the? They should just have more support there.
Well, they
for sure.
like they have
I'm happy with the Death Guard like range.
the Death Guard range is it's enough for like the first few years of
Yeah,
their existence.
like
they'll need some more models eventually, but for a starting force, it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But like you compare it alongside the Thousand Suns when they got released, and it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
I think that AdMech's range is satisfactory by this point.
Oh yeah, they get new models like every time they have a release, they get new models.
I mean,
with every codex that has come out with AdMech since 7th edition.
Plus, most
they've
of
got
them
models.
are multi-purpose kits.
That's true
like
too.
like you
Make
know
multiple units.
the
That's true too.
the Dune Crawler is the only thing that doesn't make more than one unit.
It's not a single multi-purpose kit in the Thousand Suns range. It's one in the Chaos range.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right,
I
guys.
think so.
We'll continue this talk next week. Hopefully Sunday we get a Amazon preview or
That'd be nice.
announcement. Hey, next week. God, I don't know where they're at. But all right, guys. We will see you next week. Tell your grandma we love you. 40K campaign going now. Come see us. Love you. Bye.